The ground cracked when she stepped off the shuttle. Every sensor screamed hazard, every alien eye turned away except one. He didn't flinch, didn't hide. He smiled, like a man greeting the storm that could melt him alive. The shuttle's ramp hissed open like a creature afraid to breathe. Heat rolled out first, thick, electric, and alive. Then she stepped through it. 7 feet of violet steel and grace, a walking furnace built by evolution to survive worlds that would melt others. Her name was Kara Venn, but on every registry she was labeled thermal risk, handle with distance. The plaza of Ilaris Prime was a cathedral of glass and cold white metal. It wasn't built for someone like her. She could feel it, the way the floor sensors trembled beneath her boots, the way the crowd leaned away instead of toward. Even the air vents sighed, as if exhaling her out. Kara didn't care much anymore. She'd been too much, too hot, too visible for too long. But she had to care today, because this city was her last chance at work, shelter, and belonging. She adjusted the copper mesh wrapped around her waist, venting a ribbon of heat that shimmered through the air. Her presence alone bent light. A child pointed from the crowd. His mother tugged him back. The mother whispered something like a prayer, safe distance, safe distance. Kara smirked under her breath. Guess I'm still the sermon. A vendor machine blinked at her. Access denied. Thermal contaminant. She rolled her eyes. Figures. That's when she heard a voice, calm, amused, utterly unafraid. Or maybe the machine's just scared of someone finally hotter than its processors. She turned. He wasn't tall or armed or glowing, just human. Brown hair tousled by the alpine wind, black jacket unzipped like he owned the cold. His badge said Aiden Real, systems technician. His eyes said something different. You don't scare me. Kara studied him, half ready to burn his confidence to vapor. You always talk to walking hazards? He shrugged. Only the interesting ones. The machine beeped again. Thermal lockout detected. Aiden sighed, crouched, and flipped open the override panel with easy familiarity. Let's see if the city's smarter than its fear today. The red error lights dimmed. The crowd stopped whispering. Kara blinked once, genuinely caught off guard. You just broke protocol, she said. Nah, he replied, smiling. I bent it toward common sense. For the first time in years, Kara laughed, a short, bright sound that made even the sensors pause. The plaza's buzz returned once people realized no explosion was coming. A few citizens recorded discreetly, pretending they weren't. Kara ignored them and sipped the steaming cup Aiden had ordered for her. The liquid hissed against her palm before settling. Hot, she murmured. Not as hot as your entry, he said. She raised a brow. That a flirt or a diagnosis? Both, he admitted. It shouldn't have made her smile, but it did. The moment lasted exactly 6 seconds before a sharp ping cracked through the plaza speakers. Manual override detected. Security en route, Kara exhaled. Here we go again. Aiden straightened, unbothered. Relax, I work for them, technically. Technically, she echoed. You mean you know how to sweet-talk machines and break their rules? He grinned. Exactly my skill set. 2 safety marshals marched down the glass ramp, their uniforms too crisp, too sure. The taller one scanned Aiden's badge and frowned. You authorize an override without command clearance? I authorize decency, Aiden replied. Kara crossed her arms. The gesture radiated heat, literally. Should I apologize for existing again, or will you find me first? The shorter marshal checked his tablet. Thermal index above retail threshold. Aiden stepped between them, casual but firm. Thresholds are suggestions, not gospel. Unless you're allergic to being human. The taller marshal hesitated, unsure whether to argue or retreat. The crowd's cameras made him cautious. Finally, he tapped his screen. Fine, temporary clearance. Don't melt anything. When they left, Kara blinked down at Aiden. You risked your job for a stranger, he shrugged. I repair systems, not serve them. She studied him for a long moment. You talk like someone who's lost a few fights with rules. He smiled faintly. You talk like someone who's survived worse than rules. Something shifted then. Not romantic yet, but something real. A small drone zipped overhead, projecting a warning hologram. Thermal contaminant identified. Kara's jaw tightened. Aidan glanced up, muttered, "Persistent little bug," and hurled his coffee cup at it. The drone sputtered, smoking mid-air before crashing harmlessly into a puddle. "Oops," he said, deadpan. Kara laughed again, low and genuine this time. "You're insane." "Possibly," he said, "but you smiled again. So it's worth it." The city wasn't sure what to make of them, but for the first time she didn't care. They left the plaza before curiosity turned into gossip. The glass avenues of Ilaris Prime shimmered in soft hues of blue, each panel humming with silent judgment. Kara walked beside Aidan, the ground faintly steaming under her steps. He didn't flinch when the heat brushed his arm. If anything, he walked closer. "Doesn't it bother you?" she asked. "What?" "The temperature. The stairs. The way this city hums like it's trying to erase me." He smirked. "I grew up fixing furnaces. You're practically nostalgia." That earned him a look, half glare, half grin. They reached an elevated bridge that overlooked the lower sectors. Below, neon markets pulsed with life, creatures trading tech, gossip, and food. Kara couldn't eat without setting off alarms. She stopped, leaning on the rail, watching the flow of people. "You think they'll ever stop seeing me as a walking hazard?" "Not all of them need to," Aidan said. "Just enough of them to make the rest question why they don't." Before she could respond, the bridge shuddered. A deep crack echoed from the east support beam. Sirens flared, flashing red through the fog. Aidan cursed softly. "Sensor malfunction again?" "No, wait." He knelt, scanning the readout from his wrist pad. The entire lower section's overheating. "The vents are jammed," Kara frowned. "Overheating. That's not me this time." "I know. It's spreading too fast. Someone tampered with the regulators." A roar of steam burst from a vent below. People screamed and scattered. Kara moved instinctively, grabbing a collapsing beam and bracing it with both arms. Her muscles locked, heat venting from her skin like molten light. Aidan stared, stunned. "You're holding the structure." "Less talking, more fixing," she snapped, half laughing, half straining. He ran to a control box, hands flying over the manual overrides. Sparks spat. "Someone's rerouting the thermal flow into the plaza. If it hits the power grid, the city's going to cook itself." "Then reroute it to me," Kara said. "What? I can take it." "You can't." He hesitated only a second before doing exactly that. Heat poured toward her like liquid sunlight. For one terrifying heartbeat, her skin flared white-hot and then steadied. The air rippled, but the bridge held. When it was over, Aidan's face was streaked with sweat and awe. "You just saved half the city." Kara exhaled smoke. "Guess I finally did something useful." He laughed breathlessly. "You're not useful, Kara. You're necessary." And for the first time, she didn't argue. The emergency sirens faded, leaving behind the soft hiss of cooling metal. Kara's arms trembled as she released the bent support beam. The steel beneath her hands glowed faintly, shaped to her fingerprints. For a moment, no one spoke. Then applause erupted from the far end of the bridge, hesitant at first, then real. Aidan didn't clap. He just looked at her, that small, crooked smile flickering again. "You're burning," he said softly. "I'm always burning," she replied. "Not like that." He stepped closer, his hand hovering near her wrist. The heat was still fierce, but not unbearable. "You just absorbed a meltdown," he said. "You shouldn't even be standing." Kara chuckled. "Standing is the only thing I'm good at." He pulled a small canister from his belt, coolant mist. "Hold still," he said, spraying it gently over the scorched edge of her forearm. The vapor hissed, and she exhaled a sigh she hadn't realized she was holding. "Thanks," she murmured. "Didn't think a human could fix heat with cold that feels kind." "Story of my life," he said. "Cooling down people who almost explode." That earned a laugh from her, tired but sincere. They walked back toward his workshop, the path quiet except for the hum of distant trams. Ilaris Prime looked different now, less judgmental, more uncertain. Word of the thermal giant who saved the city was already spreading through the hollow feeds, hovering over the rooftops. When they reached the workshop, Aidan unlocked the door and gestured her inside. The room was small but warm, filled with half-repaired drones and glowing cables. She ducked under the doorway and sat carefully on a reinforced bench, You built this for humans?" she asked. He shrugged. "For anyone who doesn't fit somewhere else." Her gaze softened. "You talk like you've been the outsider too." "I was. Still am sometimes. I just hide it better." Before she could respond, a hologram blinked to life on the work table, an official broadcast. City security notice. System sabotage identified. Primary suspects: Aiden Rail and thermal entity, Kara Venn. Kara's jaw tightened. "They think we did this." Aiden's expression darkened. "Someone wants us out of the way." She stood, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "Then they're about to find out what too hot to handle really means." He grinned despite the danger. "Remind me to duck when that happens." Night fell hard over Ilaris Prime. The glass towers shimmered with warning lights, painting the city in uneasy red. Kara and Aiden moved through the maintenance tunnels below the plaza. The hum of power lines echoing above them like distant thunder. "They framed us fast," Aiden muttered, checking the scanner on his wrist. "That means whoever did this has access to the central grid." "Someone high up," Kara said. "Someone who doesn't want a furnace girl and a mechanic rewriting their safety codes." She crouched beside a vent glowing faintly orange, overheated again. Aiden knelt beside her, eyes narrowing as data scrolled across his screen. "There's a trigger loop. Someone rerouted the power to blow the entire sector." Kara met his gaze. "Then we stop it." He hesitated. "If I can't override it in time, the grid will dump the surge into you." "Maybe that's the point," she said quietly. "They want the problem erased." Aiden looked at her, really looked, at the faint scars where metal had once burned her, at the exhaustion behind her humor. "You're not the problem, Kara. You're the solution they're too afraid to build." For a heartbeat, the world narrowed to that single truth. Then the floor vibrated. The surge was coming. She grabbed the exposed conduit. Light exploded around her, white and gold, the air rippling with heat. Aiden fought the control board, fingers flying. "Hold it, just 10 more seconds." "Make it 5, she growled, teeth gritted, shoulders shaking. The temperature climbed. Her vision blurred. Then silence. The lights dimmed to normal. Steam rolled off the walls like breath after a scream. She let go, collapsing to one knee. Aiden caught her before she fell completely, his hands warm despite the cold air. "You're insane," he whispered. Compliment accepted. Above them, the central broadcast changed. Sabotage source found. Council engineer detained. Citizens safe. He laughed, half relieved, half shocked. "We did it," Kara smiled weakly. "You fixed it." "I just glowed." "Correction," he said, brushing soot from her cheek. "You saved them, again." Later, on the plaza roof, dawn painted the sky in copper light. The city below buzzed with new rumors. The giant who burned to protect them, the man who stood beside her. Kara glanced at him. "So what now?" He slipped his hand into hers. "Now we make the city fit you," she chuckled. "Big project," he grinned. "Good thing I like heat," and for once the world around them didn't pull away. It leaned closer, finally warm.